Hi everyone, I'm Margie Fuston and I'm here to give you 5 reasons to be riveted by my new book, Vampires' Hearts and Other Dead Things. Number 1, it will probably make you cry. Based on early reader responses, I would say there's probably a 90% chance that you will shed some tears by the end of this book, if not in the very first chapter. But there's also a lot of laughter and romance in the book as well. And at its core, I think it's about finding joy in those moments of grief and finding hope as well. Number 2 is the father-daughter relationship. That was one of my favorite things to write, my favorite relationship in the book, because Victoria and her father share this love of vampires that is so deep. They love the mythology, they love the pop culture, they love the mystery of the vampires in their own world who like briefly came out and showed themselves and then disappeared again. And so originally they had this trip planned to New Orleans for themselves to kind of go and see some of the hot spots for vampire mythology and try and find a real vampire themselves. But when Victoria's dad gets sick, she decides to go on her own and find a vampire to save him. Number 3, speaking of vampire pop culture, all the starts to each of the chapter have a quote from a vampire movie or television show or book. So I spent hours watching movies and TV shows looking for not just random quotes that I liked, but quotes that fit with the chapter and fit with where my character was emotionally in those moments as well. So like just for example, here's the quote from chapter 8. I'm scared that if I let myself be happy for even one moment, that the world's just going to come crashing down, and I don't know if I can survive that. The Vampire Diaries. So that's one of my favorite TV shows, so that made it in a couple times. But each chapter has a quote like that. Number 4, at the core of this book is a scavenger hunt / game. When Victoria meets my vampire boy Nicholas, he can tell how sad she is, and he tells her, look, you don't seem like the person who actually wants to live forever. You're going to have to prove to me that you enjoy life. So that's her big conflict in the story. How can she do that? How can she do that when she's grieving as much as she is and also ignoring that grief at the same time? So he sends her on a bunch of tasks around New Orleans, and at the end of each task, he gives her a poem with a couple words underlined, and at the end she can put that together in the message that's his secret about immortality. Number 5 is the setting. So I actually got to go to New Orleans. I actually went specifically because I had this character in my mind, but I did not know what she was going to do or how this was going to unfold. And a very lovely friend of mine agreed to travel with me. So a lot of the places, the real places that Victoria goes, are places that I went as well, except for when she's breaking and entering into a couple places where she is not supposed to be. I did not do that. But the setting was just enormously fun to write, and I'm so in love with the city of New Orleans. And what I hope is that this book actually feels like you're traveling there as well. So those are my reasons to be riveted by Vampires' Hearts and Other Dead Things. What will yours be? Read and find out.